Hello, 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 party people. It's Monday, and today my computer told me Monday truly sucks and didn't want to start at all. Didn't even want to actually come in on front for me to actually enjoy um, a little bit of the this internet that I set up. So if you here, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you being here. It's Monday as usual, every single Monday seem to suck. So this show definitely is apropos. But you know, this show does not happen without the man, the myth, the legend, the Steven Seagal of Louisville, my man, Tim Man.
Steven Seagal. Is that because my hair's up like him? Is that
Mhm,
why?
mhm.
Okay, okay. At least
That's
I'm
the
not
first thing I
lying
thought
about the
about. I
things
said,
I'm actually
every
capable of.
Monday I have to think of a way to introduce you. So
That's
when I
fine.
saw
I'll
that,
take
I'm
it.
like,
I'll take it. At least I'm not lying about what I'm actually capable of.
you
I
know.
can kill a man with my bare hands from 12 feet away.
Yeah, so the only thing I could think of is Steven Seagal with the bun on the head. I'm like, you know what? I see it happening. It's happening.
It's
Um,
happening. Let's go for it. I'm about it. Why not?
if you're here, welcome. Happy Monday. We have a I would say great show, but yet interesting, because the only person that knows about our guest today is Tim. Never heard of this distillery. I actually had to ask somebody about this distillery, and they're like, "Oh yeah, is that place somewhere in Kentucky, hidden somewhere?" Yeah, they make good whiskey, and I'm like, how come I never heard of it? So this is the first time I'll be the novice, like French people say, in this situation because I really have no idea who our guest is
So
or
here's the
how
fun
he
thing
is.
about it. Like the I outside of knowing that it's available in Kentucky, I don't know a whole lot about it either. And like the story of how they got their name. So I'm the whole thing was um we randomly bumped into each other. He at the bar we started talking and I was like, "You need to come on my show and we need to talk about your brand and tell everybody about it." So that's what's happening.
So as you guys know, we always the first people to bring people in to remind them uh to always remind them that we are the cool kids, and this show is not for everybody, it's not for the faint of heart. We bring brands here. Usually I realize that we are usually kind of the avant-garde people. We bring the first brand before brands become cool. They were on Mondays.
Yeah, it seems to genuinely be the sense is that
Correct.
I feel like
So
we kind of get the group before they blew up.
yeah, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, have you heard of this thing?" And I'm like, "You obviously don't watch Monday Sucks." Because
That's always fun when you can call somebody out on it and you're like,
correct.
"Ah, yeah, you don't even watch it."
Yeah, because they were here.
Mhm.
They were here, and they were they talked to us about what they do, how they do it, and we now they're cool, but we knew them before they were cool.
Like when that popular so and so who's
Yeah,
in this game asked us about 291 and we're like, "Been there, bud.
been there,
Been
done it.
there,
Got
bud.
the T-shirt.
Been there, bud."
Yeah. So this actually I'm excited about because I love to always not know things. And
Sure.
because everything can become so mundane in the whiskey industry,
Oh
there's
yeah.
nothing that people bring to actually excite me anymore.
Mhm, mhm.
So when I see somebody that I never heard of or never done anything, I'm like, you know what? That's exciting. It's like finding that you have a new toy of a version of a toy that you have but you never heard of it, but you own all the toys and you're like, oh, okay, let me see what's going on. So um anyway, uh let's start the show the right way. And this show only start when we ask the question, what are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are we drinking? If you're here, what are you drinking? Let's hear what you're drinking. um
So, what are you drinking? Because I'll tell you, I've spoiled myself this week with some things that I'm drinking. So I'll let you go first.
You know, the funny thing is, I'm gonna drink what our guests have because I haven't drank anything today. But this weekend was quite interesting. This weekend, I dived a lot into tequila.
Oh, nice.
I dived seriously in tequila and mezcal, and I actually just completed a certification in tequila.
Ooh.
But because you don't never stop learning.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that is actually kind of foreign to me is when bourbon is finished in a tequila barrel.
Yeah.
I don't get
Yeah.
it because
Yeah.
it for me it
Same.
doesn't sound right. But
Same.
now it kind of makes sense.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not drinking yet. Somebody's drinking some Russells here. What are y'all drinking? If you're
So
here, if you're on the Facebook, make sure you share with your favorite group. Bring them in. Let's talk about dueling
what
ground that
what
I
I was
never heard
drinking
about.
what I was drinking earlier and what I was drinking this week. I guess it doesn't matter what I was drinking this week, so we won't even talk about it. Never mind. I drank Silver Dollar did a release earlier today,
Of
and they released their house barrel of Blanton's and their house Weller Full Proof.
okay.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not generally a full proof drinker,
Hmm.
but their full proof barrel, whew, that came out great. I definitely sat there for an extra minute and indulged a little bit more than I normally do, but it's pretty damn good.
Still Austin. Old fashioned. We got some
Ooh,
Still Austin here.
okay, okay.
So yeah, nice, 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 nice. So yeah, I'm drinking what our guests give us because
Yes.
um I wanted to make sure that I'm very curious. So before I even start pouring, because I realized that our guest sent us um a specific barrel
Mm,
and uh and a bottle in bond.
mhm, mhm,
So it's
mhm.
quite interesting. I want to hear all about it. So be I'm pouring 4G Blanco for sure. Okay. All right, but before we start the right way. Let's welcome our guests and let's give our guests a good Monday sucks a welcome uh into the show. This is Monday. Let's remind our guests that here we are the worst kid you can bring to the Christmas party. We have a potty mouth. We do not respect any rules and regulation. I'm so surprised they keep us on the internet. No one in the whiskey industry like us, but they actually respect us. They don't like us, but they respect us because we are not the typical stiff ass person that comes in and go, "Oh, this smells like marzipan," and it's so cool and
Shut
whatnot.
the fuck
That's
up.
not it. You know,
Shut the
we're
fuck
just us. A black guy from Africa and a tattooed guy like he actually murdered a samurai on his way down. So that's literally
Oh.
what we have here. So, Mark, welcome to the
Mark,
show.
Hey guys.
what's up,
Hello,
brother?
hello,
Welcome
hello.
in.
We
I
are going to
love
be moving you in. You'll be the center of attention now.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, Mark,
I love that attitude, man.
I
That's
need one of them hoodies,
I
Mark.
feel
You
it.
need to tell me where I can get one of those. I like
Yeah,
that hoodie.
or you can go online and order it. We'll see.
I will shit, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Mark.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Welcome to Monday. Welcome to Monday, our Monday that usually seem to suck.
Yeah.
But if you're here long enough and drink long enough, you are going to enjoy every part of it.
I had Monday in this room doing things that you do on a Monday, staring at a computer, paying bills, doing all that shit, Yeah. Monday.
Welcome,
So
welcome,
I'm
welcome, welcome. Dueling Grounds Distillery.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's literally what I want to know. It's
Yeah.
been the question on my mind the whole time. Is who are these people? And you have a beautiful website, by the way.
Thank you.
I had to go creep and see beautiful, beautiful design website.
Thank you.
If you guys don't know it, just Google Dueling Ground Distillery. And because usually on this show we choose violence, Dueling Ground kind of fit perfectly in what is happening. So
Look,
who
it's
are
out
you?
of
Tell us.
stock.
Who are you? Yeah, there you go.
Is that
Out
a
of
stock?
stock.
I love that question because if I can get you to ask that question, then we get a chance to talk, right?
Yes.
You. And so the whole thing is the whole deal is to get people to ask these questions. It's like, who the fuck are you guys? So we're located in Franklin, Kentucky. Which is right on the border between Kentucky and Tennessee on I-65. So if you're coming to Nashville or if you're going north to Louisville, anywhere on that run, you go right by our door. And I started this project in 2013. I had a desire to make whiskey after several years as a hobby brewer, and started going around to some of the other craft distilleries in Kentucky at the time, MB Roland and Casey Jones and Corsair, people like that. And I just kind of, my joke is that the most expensive words in the English language are, I can do that, because it's like, now you're going to fucking spend a ton of money to try to make this shit happen, right? But I enjoy the challenge. And so it was one of these things of like, it was the side hustle that kind of just kept growing and growing and getting more interesting. And it was this thing, getting the federal license is not that difficult. It's a lot of paperwork, none of it's more than just paperwork. And once I had it and was doing it, it was like, well, we just grew it a little bit every year until we kind of hit where we are. We're still super, super small. We do a couple hundred. This year we'll be maybe get to 200 barrels, probably more like 175. If all the equipment holds up, nothing breaks down next year, we should be able to make 200. It's a lot of hillbilly engineering. It's a lot of me just kind of figuring it out as I go. A big part of it was just like the challenge of, can I do this and learn how to make good whiskey? And along the way, I've always enjoyed cooking. I've always enjoyed making beer. I've always had that idea of grains and flavors and yeasts and all the things that go with it. So I was like, well, shit, I can do this. I can make this happen. And it's just that organic, just building it piece by piece. But, new equipment, used equipment, it's kind of a hodgepodge of things. We're sort of always in a state of growth. Right now, like last year we had 25 barrels available that we could dump and sell. So obviously between our gift shop and just the state of Kentucky, that was it. That was everything. And last
25 barrels, you said?
25 last year, yeah, that we had. So you think about that, going back 4 years, that's what we did. We start off with clear, apple pie, fruit liqueurs, gin, that sort of stuff. And we never sourced a drop. It was always going to make our own stuff. And come hell or high water, whatever I did, whatever I sold you was going to be local. And so we buy our grains local and just kind of did it. And so we started off with that. Then we had a 2-year-old bourbon. Then we had a 4-year-old bourbon. And now we're just solidly at 4 all the time. We definitely hope to hold more back as we go forward. But right now, we sort of need to sell a certain number just to keep the machinery going and keep everybody paid and stuff. This year we had 50 barrels. Next year we have 100 barrels. And then we'll be at 100 for about 3.5, 4 years. And then hopefully we'll get into that 200 range. We're setting
you are not in any hurry to grow.
No.
You just want to be steady.
No, we're setting the stage to be at 400, 500 barrels in a couple of years. At the moment, now we're hitting a point where, used to be we sold everything in the gift shop. Now we actually have enough that we can kind of go out and look at expanding into new territories and stuff like that. We're shipping to Indiana. We're shipping to Tennessee and Kentucky. So we're just kind of keeping it regional. I mean, my theory was if you can make it in Kentucky and get some sort of respect, then, you got a leg to stand on that's much better than a bunch of awards from random things and stuff.
Right.
Just do it underground, do it guerrilla style, and let people like y'all help us spread the word. The story behind the name and all that kind of stuff, because that's one of the things I get a lot, is that about 2 miles from our location is a place called the Sanford Duncan Inn. And it's an old stagecoach inn that was restored as a museum. It was on the original north-south road between Louisville and Nashville. It was about a day's ride from either, and it was a place to stay on your way. 2 stagecoaches a day north and 2 stagecoaches a day south. It was at a center of 600 acres that was called Lincoln Pinch Farm. And so it would be otherwise unremarkable except for the fact that because of its location close to the border, they used to fight pistol duels on the property. You gotta love a good story. And so if you look at the state of Kentucky and you look at the line, it kind of goes more or less straight, except right here in Simpson County is a little V. And that little V was always kind of contested as to whether it was Kentucky or whether it was Tennessee. Nobody knew who had jurisdiction. Most of the combatants were lawyers and legislators from Nashville, and they would come over the line to settle their differences. They could duke it out and then step back over the line. And because there was no reciprocity in those days, the Simpson County Sheriff or Kentucky police, whatever, sheriff couldn't chase them. And the Tennessee guys don't care, right? Because they're like, it didn't happen in my fight. So that went on for several years. Sam Houston was the most famous duelist here. And so it gives us our whole iconography and the guns and the logo and all that kind of stuff. And, at the end of the day, Lincoln Pinch was just a really cool whiskey name. It was like, well, that's just a badass whiskey name. So let's do that. We were a dry county up until just a little while, like basically when we started 2013. So like a lot of places, we're the first legal distillery in this area since Prohibition. And otherwise, we focus mostly on bourbon, mostly on wheated bourbon, since that's what we grow in the area. We do, like I said, we do fruit liqueurs and gin and other stuff. But that's kind of the pitch.
So, how you bring in your bourbon? So, what are your brands? What are the name of your brands that are coming out of the Dueling Ground Distillery?
The primary bourbon brand is called Lincoln Pinch.
Okay, Lincoln.
And I apologize for not having a bottle like right here to show. Well, I do have a bottle. Can I walk away?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go get it. Absolutely. That's part of the thing. It's a beautiful bottle. It has two expressions. It has a bonded expression at 4 years and a cask strength expression also at 4 years.
Who start now? My thing was actually obviously knowing that this probably is new, that's why, and small, probably that's why we never heard of it. But it's quite ballsy to start the process by going, I'm gonna do bottle and bond.
Oh my God, totally, because it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So this is the cask strength label.
There you go.
Okay.
You can kind of see the guns, iconography, and
okay, perfect.
all the stuff and everything. We spent a lot of time on the bottle, just kind of trying to get this looking like I wanted to do a vintage style. Something that looked classic right from the get-go.
Looks like an old day bar bourbon.
Yeah. And the bonded is similar, except it's like a teal. It's like the color of it's like this color.
Yeah.
It's like a bluish, greenish aqua.
Yeah. And this is actually a bottle of Barrel One.
Oh wow.
From the very first barrel, from the very first still that we did, and it's was sold as a limited edition, 80 bottles. And we took 100%. We charged a premium. We took 100% of the money. We called it the Founders Club. We took 100% of the money and we used it to pay off equipment loans and buy equipment. So a lot of the people who were invested in it really helped us kind of get this ball. It seemed like a really suitable use for a first barrel. Yeah. But that's basically the style of it right there.
Okay.
And then the other thing that we're kind of proud of is our gin. A lot of people
talk to us about your gin. What's different about your gin and why?
It's a small botanical gin. It is definitely got the juniper note, but one of the things we really like about it is we added a lot of citrus to it.
Okay.
Cardamom, a little cinnamon. We actually put a little sea salt in it.
Oh,
I need to try. I'm becoming very, 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 very. The last 3 months, I had to work with 4 gin companies. So the profiles of botanicals are so important to me. I've been becoming just very, very, very picky about the type of gin that I classify as good gin.
Yeah.
That I'm very curious to actually try your gin to see what approach, because I feel like gin is probably the best thing I can compare to knowing how somebody actually cooks. Right,
sure.
Because of the maceration of the type of botanicals that goes into a gin, it let me know immediately. The deeper I'm getting into it, do you like blend food or do you like your food with complex flavor? I can tell immediately by tasting the gin. I'm talking from Geneva, Geneva style gin to outside of America, we talking in the Alps to Brazil to all these places, and I'm bringing it back to the U.S. Way of making gin. It tells me immediately gins that seem to be great are pushed by people that actually have amazing culinary background versus actually just whiskey background.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about gin is, other than having a dominant note of juniper, which is in the standards, which I don't, who knows what that is, right? There's just an amazingly wide palette of things you can do with it. And we've only done really one. We take the same product, we put it in a barrel, and we do barrel aged gin. Much more delicate once you barrel age it. This one has a note of cinnamon to it that I think is pretty dominant as well. Both Steve, our master distiller, and myself, we both like spicy foods. So I don't know if that informs, like what you were just saying, I don't know if that informs like the gin, but yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's kind of my alternative, right? It's like,
there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. Nah. Jack and I are both
definitely nothing wrong
gin
with that
drinkers
because,
as we are whiskey drinkers.
yeah,
So
if you can make good gin, I'm starting to respect gin makers sometimes more than some of the bourbon makers, because what it goes into making good gin is, and especially if I can have your gin neat.
Oh,
I don't need it in a cocktail.
absolutely.
I need it neat.
So one of the things I like about the barrel aged gin is it's really good. It's almost it's better neat. If you put anything in it, you kind of crush the spirit. You know what I mean? The spirit's so delicate that it's like a really, really dry martini is the way to drink it.
Yeah.
And it's a very limited access product for us because we only do about a few barrels a year of it. But it's been pretty popular, and I could see us definitely doing more gins. I can definitely see it. But back to the whiskey, because that's why we're here.
No, absolutely no. I mean, the fact that you guys
say,
had a one-trick pony, and that you expanding your portfolio into what you're making, good gin, good whiskey, those all goes well. I'm trying now the 4-year bottle and bond. I didn't want to go to the cask.
That's a good place to start. Yeah, that's
I only do this a little bit, so I know. I know how to move.
You've been there, yeah. Okay. I wish I thought about it. A lot of times we try to provide a sample of the clear, Kentucky Clear, which is the white dog, and it's just a great thing to just try that and get the whole flavor profile before any wood. But my mistake, I didn't send that to you.
What? So bottle and bond.
Yeah.
Can you? Okay. So I want to touch on this because I feel like this gets overlooked a lot. Bottled and bond's really fucking hard to do. I mean, it takes some time, effort, and dedication to really do a bonded spirit and release it. Why did you? I mean, you guys are brand new coming out of the gate, and you're coming out of the gate with a bonded product. What was the thought behind that, and why did you want it? Why were you crazy enough to put a bonded product out for like one of your first releases?
Well, to be fair, actually we did a 2-year-old first, and in a very limited amount. So it was Kentucky Straight.
Okay.
It was the same mash bill, but we just labeled it as Kentucky Straight. But we already knew we had the parameters for bottle and bond met.
Okay.
Once we hit 4 years. And so once we got there, it was just really a matter of going through the federal hoops to get the certification to be able to put it on there. For the listeners that are not, up to speed on that, Bottle and Bond was one of the first I think it was the first consumer food and drug protection enacted in the United States. And it was basically a reaction to the fact that we had a lot of adulterated whiskey out there. People were shipping in casks. Casks would be added to and changed. One cask might become 2 casks. And there was, just like I said, and that's where the term rot gut whiskey came from. So the distillers actually got together and come up with this idea, and they went to the federal government and they said, we would like to create this protection. And what it basically assures to those that are not completely aware is that if it is a product all made by one distillery in one distilling season, because we used to be a seasonal business, distilled, barreled, stored, and bottled under federal government supervision. And it was when bottling really came into play, where they pushed to move the consumer to bottles, which was a pretty new technology in the late 1800s. And it just assured quality. And so the government set down when they did the standards of identity post-prohibition. They set down rules for bottled and bond. So we had to we just took our basic label that we already had and we remocked it as bottled and bond. We sent it in. They made us make a handful of different changes. They made us do a say on an affidavit that we were adhering to the principles of bottled and bond, and they gave us our permit. But I like again with that vintageness of the bottle.
Sure.
The idea of kind of like putting that kind of vintage thing in, and it also says to the consumer, "I made this." Right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely. We made it here. We didn't buy it. We didn't do anything like that. And I got nothing against bottlers or blenders or sourcers or anything like that. It's just not for me. I'm not gonna do it.
So the bottle and bond is kind of your standard product.
Yeah.
What's the mash bill?
66% corn, 22 wheat, and 12 malted barley. Little lower, pretty good, lower ratio on corn than a lot of folks go. Just corn is a cheap starch, and it makes a very good whiskey.
You said you source local.
Yeah. All the grain for the first couple of years, and the stuff you're tasting, the barley came from Wisconsin. In the last year, we've moved all of our grain source to Kentucky.
Oh wow!
The corn, the wheat, and oftentimes the malted barley is grown about 3 miles from where I'm sitting. It's actually my neighbor. They're called. You should look them up. It's called Walnut Grove Farms, and Walnut Grove is I think they're like 7th generation family farm. Really smart people, and they moved into the high value grain market about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer, and they sell predominantly to pot distilled, and they sell predominantly to distilleries and people who are making high-end food products. It's a #1 quality yellow dent corn. It's 100% clean. There's no fines. There's no silts or silks. It's just a really, really good corn. And it mashes up great. It's like super clean to work with. So yeah. Everything comes here. Our yeast and our enzymes come from Wilderness Trail in Danville. And we actually store our barrels with Wilderness Trail. Our barrels come from Kelvin. My labels and my printing is just, down the road in Nashville. So
you literally use only your neighbors.
As much as I possibly can. Yeah, much as I possibly can.
What do you think, Tim? Dude, I actually wanted to touch on that more because okay, so sitting here and talking to you about this, you could tell that you actually give a shit about what you're doing. I feel like anytime somebody comes out with something that's bonded for one of their, we'll say this in quotations, first releases, it shows that you give a shit. But you did the legwork. You went and found, how can I make this local? Who's close? You put in the work. We can talk about the whiskey here in a second because I'm excited as that as well. But just you as a person and a brand, I got to give you a clap for that one, man. Because
it's a lot about.
It says a ton about you,
about who you are and the type of business you want to see run. What I like to call the good old American spirit that we preach about, but we never actually
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Help. When you're doing something, it does take a village to do it, and bring your neighbors in and help people around you also grow as much as you are. And people love to preach that, but not a lot of people actually, walk the walk.
Yeah. I appreciate that. And, our people who work for us, we're a small team, obviously. But, everybody's kind of been here a while now, and we all really, we seem to all like each other. I think they like me. You never know. But we try to just be honest about it and be as transparent as we can about what we're doing.
Tim, this is the first time I'm upset at a brand that they didn't send me a bottle.
Oh,
this is the first time.
Well, will you fix that?
Usually I'm okay, because if I show you around me, there's plenty of sample bottles that I just keep on the side, because
Yeah.
We had you on. You send the sample. It's perfectly fine. Okay. I'm done with my interview. I've done my part.
Yeah.
If I like you after that or I don't like you after that, that's my prerogative. But I don't know. I really had to take like 3 gulps of water to make sure I re-clear my palate to be sure that this cannot be the first standard thing you guys are putting out. I'm like, it must be the butter chicken that I had before the show because there's no way this is just that good. I'm being very candid with you.
I love that, man.
Because I will tell you right now, is expected from a new brand coming in and trying bottle and bun to fuck up somewhere. You get room for error to kind of make it work.
Yeah.
But I will tell you right now, my first initial reaction immediately was, what the fuck did this guy do to this whiskey? That's literally how I felt. But now you telling me every single ingredient that go into this, from Pat Heist working on your yeast, for you using local ingredient, for you trying to keep the real American way of making your whiskey.
Yeah.
More people need to know who you are, which may be a bad issue because obviously there will not be enough whiskey to go around. But
yeah, that's a living fear I have, is that like somebody will pick it up and just like rave about it in some major paper or something, and I'll be like, oh shit, now what am I gonna do? I'll be like the dog that caught the car. It's like, damn, I'm screwed. So
I'm telling you right now,
I'm up for the slow build. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I haven't had your cast strength. But if this is the standard, Tim, what do you think? Because I need a minute to actually have a couple minutes.
I'll gladly
I'll
talk
take a
about
minute.
it.
Yeah.
So it's real. I didn't know that it was wheated, and now knowing that it's wheated, it explains why I'm getting the notes that I'm getting. Because it reminds me of pancakes when you first put them on the griddle and you flip them, and maybe you pull them a little too early and they're still a little bit undercooked on the inside. But you went ahead and ate them anyways, and you added like a handful of pecans and hit them with some maple syrup and some fresh butter. I mean, that's the first note that I get up front, is just that like bright, vibrant, little bit of doughy, but like fresh baked good. And then it has an awesome bit of sweetness and this really great nuttiness that comes through. And it's not, I've had some bonded, especially dealing with new bonded, where it's kind of grainy. And I think there's a bit of an undertone of some graininess, but it's more of like a wheat undertone of graininess and not a corn undertone of graininess. And overall, I think this is awesome. I was already a fan of this before you came on. I got to sit and talk with you at the bar. Yeah, this is great. I'm excited that you're here and we get to talk about it and we get to tell more people about it, people that are watching now, and hopefully the people that are watching this afterwards. But yeah, man, I'm for it. Like, thank you for making fantastic whiskey.
This is
Well, you are most welcome, and thank you for helping me spread the gospel of my bourbon. So appreciate it.
I don't know about if we're helping you, because I'm looking at this thing.
I think we broke Jack.
Like I am literally. Hold on. Just hold on. I need to, for all of you guys that are here, do me a favor. Do like me. As of now, go to your favorite application that you love to use as social media and type Dueling Ground Distillery. Make sure you follow and change your setting on top on the right to actually make them your favorite.
Yeah, no joke.
I have a feeling, this weird ass feeling. And I always say I'm not good at a lot of stuff. But one thing I'm good at in this industry is predicting who is gonna be a hot item in the industry. And every single one that I told that to have done very well. They still won't write me a check. Have done really well. And brother, let me tell you this. You
Well,
got something?
one of the things that your viewers and listeners can do to really help us is go to your, if you are a real bourbon head and you really enjoy it, you patronize the stores, the top bottle shops that sell really great whiskeys, go to those people and say, you want our whiskey.
Yeah.
And they have this, like, we need.
But brother, you're only in 3 states, so I don't know.
Well, we need distribution partners is what I'm kind of trying to say. And so it's like, if it kind of works its way backwards, if a great store goes to their favorite distributor and says, hey, we've been looking into this whiskey and we'd like to bring it into the store, would you guys check into it? That's all that really has to happen. Then I get a phone call.
Sure.
If I'm calling, to be honest with you, if I'm calling these guys blind with, I've been on this podcast and I've got this medal and that medal, they don't give a shit.
Nah.
But where they care about it is if a retail store says, we'll order some.
We'll order some. Okay.
Yeah, or especially if it's a chain retail that's got like 10 stores. Then all of a sudden it's like we can ship them a pallet. And that's what it's going to take for this to grow, is for grassroots.
But as far as distribution is concerned, are you limited to your 3 states?
No, I can go anywhere I want. I just don't want to go to a new state unless I have a good partner, and if there's a vision to try to help me grow it. And I'm up for anywhere.
I'm you know what? I might be able to help with that.
All these businesses, and my past business and this business, everything I've ever done is always based on personal relationships. It's always based on like I meet TVR in the bottle shop. I just have a couple of minutes to like walk into this place while I'm in Louisville, and it's been on my list to hit, and there's my stuff, and I'm like excited. I'm excited that it's not only that, it's on the staff pick, and I'm like, okay, this is great. And then next thing I know, we're having a conversation, and that's how this business gets built. It's really hand to hand, people introducing you. So if there's a distributor in a local, market who hears about us from this or from your subscribers who says, I'm interested in talking to you. Well, I'm interested in talking to them. I'm interested in talking to them. I have whiskey to sell.
I have a couple retailers / distribution partners that I use for like my single barrels and stuff like that. Those people are always looking for new brands to bring on the market and have available online, because that's the that I'm literally, as I'm talking to you, I'm literally sending an email about you right now.
I would like to add this brand to the Empty Bottle Club. Yeah, I drank it all.
So you need a bottle.
I can go.
You can get one anywhere in Louisville.
I really can. I want to say I'm very thankful. I know Jack's upset because he doesn't have access to this, but little does he know that I can send him stuff. But like Jack was saying, I have a ton of stuff behind me. We get samples. It's nice to actually get a hefty sample to where we can do something with it, and it's not just a tiny bit, and it's not a giant bottle. Don't get me wrong. I love getting bottles. But when you can get a good sample, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's a new thing for us.
Honestly, right now,
how to do that in the samples.
What needs to happen is not local stores, because that's not the way anymore. What needs to happen, as I'm having this whiskey, is we need to make sure you are in retails that are available online. So someone like Gray Shot in Texas can go and buy himself a few bottles and send it in, or someone like Whiskey Fancies in California can actually just grab herself a few. Because the one thing I love about our show is that we reach whiskey drinkers from all around the US, and some of these people's like, I just need one online retailer to have this, so I can go and buy as much as I need out of them. And those people don't mind getting 10, 15, 20 cases, because they know that they can sell it.
Jack.
Yeah.
Jack, pour the cast strength.
Oh,
Put some to your lips.
I'm still on the bottling bun.
Put some of this cast strength
I will
to your
tell you
lips.
right now, on the cast strength, before we get there, while I'm finishing my thing, is what is your entry proof on that?
120.
Okay.
120 on the entry proof.
Yep.
This one is barrel.
I wish it
right
was an
now
artistic
barrel
decision.
84.
Yeah, I wish it was an artistic decision, but I'll be completely transparent. It was an economic decision.
Oh wow, okay.
People who, I mean, this is at the beginning, obviously, but people who I admire people who do 25-gallon barrels and things like that.
Mhm.
A 25-gallon barrel costs you as much as a 53-gallon barrel does, and wood is not cheap. So
No, especially right now.
go in at 120, and you know, I chemically, I believe that the higher proof is a better solvent to the wood, and so hopefully it gets more wood in it. The one change I do that's different than a lot of other people is I use a number 3 char instead of a number 4 char. The 4 is pretty prevalent in craft because people want to get a lot of color in it, but I feel like yeah, it's good. I feel like sometimes it can add too many wood overtones and be a little pencily. And the 3 gives me a more than enough color.
Sure.
And it's a little bit more gentle on the spirit, you know. And the other thing is, I really feel like is aging in the Wilderness Trail barns, a proper, you know,
environment,
properly ventilated, well built, obviously also, you know, safe is a big thing for me. But just in general, just having the right aging environment gives it the best chance for success.
Mark, have you noticed anything or heard anything now that Wilderness Trail is owned by Campari about has there been anything said about going forward for you and
what you can and cannot do?
Yeah, has any of that changed, or has there been word of any of that changing?
I mean, it was a 70-30 deal. The guys that started the company are I consider them close friends.
Sure.
And I think that from everything I can glean in this week since it's happened is that they will continue to be a significant presence in the business forever. You know, you don't move. You have that much infrastructure. You don't pick it up and move it or close it.
Sure.
You run it, and you need the guys who are the team leaders to run it. But what it does is it gives Pat and Shane the opportunity to go from a really awesome national brand to, I believe, a global brand.
A global international brand.
I think if there's any one of us in Kentucky right now that are sort of bubbling under and popping, and especially in that tier of really large craft, you know, Bardstown Bourbon and Rabbit Hole and all those guys, I think Wilderness Trail is poised to be a massive worldwide brand.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all.
I think it's from the liquor, the way they've done their business, the packaging, every bit of it. I feel like they'll be huge, and I'm so fucking thrilled that, you know, they were our advisors on so much of this.
Sure.
If I have a question, you just have to reach out. It's one of the things I love about Kentucky is that it's a generally very supportive community. If you got a question, you just got to put your hand up and somebody will help you. And we all look at it as like, the more we stick together, the better we all do. So.
Sure.
But I don't really think it'll be different. I mean,
okay.
It may turn out that in 10 years, once those guys are completely bought out, they get sidelined, but I can't imagine it. They're so personable. They're so, I don't know, they're professional. That's the only way I can do it. They're just professional and sincere at the same time. I really like them. When that whole deal came down, you know, my first comment was, well, it could have a better bunch of guys, you know.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So the cast strength.
Yeah.
So pretty much you just like breaking rules, don't you?
Yeah.
So you don't
or ignorant of the rules. But,
yeah, because you are not abiding by what I call I just started rules.
Yeah.
Most people that just start bring it down to 45 ABV, make sure they're producing as much juice as possible. They don't even explore bottle and bond until they're about 4 to 5 to 6 years in to make sure that at least they got their shit together. You walk in like the badass kid of the class and you go, teacher, yes, I want to do what the big boys, the seniors are doing. I don't care if we just started. This is what I want to do. I want to make my juice castrate because fuck everybody. And I want to do bottle and bond because it haven't been done yet as far as I know when people start. So that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's I've made a living at being that guy. So yeah, you never get anywhere by being the same as everybody else. You have to stand out. You have to make yourself different. You have to find a way to get above the noise and I can't spend enough money to make me known. I have to inspire people like yourselves to tell their friends, you know, and if they tell a friend and then those people hopefully tell 2 or 3 friends, and that's just how it goes. And you do that by being different, by being unusual and trying your best to tip at the windmills. And not by being like, one thing I did learn early, or a principle I adopted, I heard Jimmy Russell talk about it, and I heard somebody else, might have been when I was going through my early classes, one of the people that talked to us was that, you know, pick something and be good at it. Mm-hmm. Don't try to, like these companies, I love craft distilleries. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but the folks that try to do 18 different things, it's like, well, how do you support that? How do you apply that? How do you build upon that? So just pick something and be good at it. And that's kind of been my philosophy too.
I want to touch on one thing you just brought up. And I wasn't going to, only because I didn't want to put you on the spot, but you brought it up, so I'm going to put you on the spot because this touches more on, I would say, your love and your willingness to do it right. I mean, you went to Moonshine U, yep. And you did all the classes and you learned everything that you needed to learn, and you were the one that was distilling when you guys first started out, right? I mean, is that right? Before you had Steve, it was you. Yeah. And it was you because you went and did the classes and you learned how to do all this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Moonshine U was, if anybody's considering doing this, Moonshine U is a great sort of 1-week intensive course to help you decide whether this is for you or this is absolutely not for you.
100% agreed.
Because it's pretty intensive. And when you walk out of there, you have a Rolodex of people you can talk to. But, you know, as many people who say, I'm going forward, which was me, say, nope, not for us. Not going to do it.
Sure.
So that was really great. It was kind of a dual situation. You know, I had a gig in the early parts like everybody else. I had a day job, right? So I had a gig. It paid me pretty well. If I wanted this thing to move forward, I needed to create a position. And so that position went through kind of a couple of different people, and some, you know, went with us and then went on to other things. And then my tasting room manager kind of came into the shop first. He went up front in tasting room, and then Steve came in. And Steve came from another distillery. I guess
from Corsair.
It was Corsair, yeah. And they were in Bowling Green, and they closed the Bowling Green office. And it was, I think, a lifestyle decision. He just didn't want to have to go to Nashville every day to go to work. And from Bowling Green, that's a long trip. And we were kind of just getting to know each other as friends. And I said, well, hey man, you know, if you're interested, let's talk. And it was a leap of faith, you know, that I could afford it, but I'm really happy I did it. And I really feel like, you know, I got a guy who's got my back. I got a guy who really takes pride in what he does and will push back against me if he thinks what we're doing is not right. You know, I feel like I got an equal there, and that's really cool. I like that.
One thing that's really cool too is that
notes that comes through in this castring. Is it from the rye? Is it different than is the origin of the grain different than the bottle and bond?
Nope. All we do is it's the same mash bill. We just grade them as they come in the door from aging. We pick out. Steve does it now these days, but he picks out the ones he really feels are strong single barrel candidates. If somebody's going to do a barrel pick, we pull from that inventory, and then when those things become,
so people can do barrel picks.
Yeah. Kentucky now is legal for barrel picks. You know, so it's like didn't used to be, but up till this year now, an individual can come in and buy a barrel. It's not cheap, but you can do it. And if you've got a group of people to spread that around with, it's pretty cool. We've actually just this year done our first 3 or 4 like retail barrel picks. We've never done that before, so that's been kind of fun for us. So it's new stuff. But yes, you can do a barrel pick.
Jack's wheels are turning.
Oh yeah, I will like speeding.
Field trip.
So you are about 3 hours away from Louisville, then?
Oh no, not even that far. 2.
You're like,
2.
yeah, I was gonna say you're like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all. Little under 2, depending how fast you drive. Yeah.
Because you're just past Bowling Green, right?
I'm right on the border, exit 6.
Okay. Yeah.
6 miles from the border. So if you miss me, you get off at exit 2.
I can usually make it to Bowling Green in an hour and a half. So yeah, you're not far at all.
Yeah.
No, they're not available in Kansas yet. See, I told you people from all around the US actually always watch it, but it will be good to have you available on a place like, and I'm gonna try to talk to Blake, and it will be good to have you available on a place like Sailback.
Yeah.
So you can actually be available for most people to purchase directly, and start at least tasting the juice, even your bottling bonds. Like, I just want people to start there. Not even just the bottling bond, just to try, because
so many of those private label, white label, direct mail websites and everything, I'm always a little nervous about them because obviously the legal side of it falls back on me. But as long as people are fully licensed and transparent,
no,
their states, I'm game. Plus they also want to charge. They always want to charge me to be on their site, and I'm like, really? You know,
usually those people are more like distributors straight from, most of them, even bourbon outfitters, they all in DC. So when they're buying anything, they're buying from DC, and from DC, distribution is legal in 37 states immediately. So when they're buying from you, they're buying they're buying as distributor directly from immediately from you, the distillery, to DC. So usually there's a lot of Kentucky, including Wilderness Trail, that have their license also now in DC, and because that's the best way to reach a bigger audience, because from DC 37 states can have your product immediately.
That's the great thing about DC. There's no state alcohol commission.
Correct.
You don't need a license. It's freaking awesome. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, that I send an email to Blake, and I said, have you heard of this guy? If you haven't, you need to look into him, because it'll be good to have his product.
Appreciate that.
Because that's literally the least we can do to make sure that you're there, because a lot of people asking the same question from California, because a lot of people buy from those sites that at least they trust, that have the reputation already to send the product in and be reliable.
Mm-hmm.
The word is missing out on not knowing what you're doing, and I truly believe that you are following every rule of what good whiskey making is one, but also the heart, putting some heart into your whiskey is, and a lot of people don't do that. They just put something out there and hope that the P&L look good at the end of the year, and it's not always about that. It's really about the love that you put into it. And people always say, you eat somebody's food and they're like, well, what do you have in that food? What did you put in it? I put a lot of love in it, and that's how I feel like when I have your whiskey. I always go, well, what the fuck is this? This tastes like a lot of love. What was put into it. So I'll be the first one to say congratulations. A lot of people are gonna. You have a lot of success ahead of you already. If this is how you're gonna make your whiskey, I truly believe you are.
It's the only way I know to do it, man. I'm just never gonna. I've been on this planet a long time, and I've never compromised ever. in the way I live my life, and the way I do my business, and so this is how it's going to be, and it'll either work or it won't. The good part about it is I got a bunch of barrels of whiskey, so if I really need to pull the parachute out, selling shit. But in the meantime, it all is there to support my brand and to try to build it, and hopefully when I'm gone, it will go on beyond me, and the staff will take it and they will go the next step and the next step and the next step.
This is truly good whiskey, brother.
Thank you.
I'm not even. And you said to actually let you go, I wanted to ask, you have bourbon that you have in your portfolio of things. You have bottle and bond cast strength. You have gin.
Yeah.
What's the name of your gin?
We just call it American Dry.
Okay. Instead of London Dry, you call American Dry.
Yeah, and it's not quite as juniper-y, so we kind of we amped up the citrus and those kind of things, make it a little bit more crisp. And so yeah.
Do you have any vodka?
No.
Okay, no vodka. So
I'm not against it, but the reality is that I would be taking GNS and throwing something in it.
Sure.
Which is what honestly is what this is too, right? It's like, I don't make the base for this. I don't have a still that will go up to that high of proof to get a really clean base spirit. So the gin, barrel aged gin, of course, and the fruit liqueurs, we use a neutral base, and I don't have any problem with that. But it's and also, if my still is going to be running, it's going to be making whiskey.
Sure.
To be doing. But the vodka thing, I've thought about it a lot. I know people ask me about it, but unless I can come up with some sort of fresh take that's going to be kind of cool, I don't really want to do it.
Yeah.
Is the barrel aged gin different name than the regular gin?
No, it's just got the same moniker on it. It's just got a slightly different color label, and it says barrel aged on it. But that's about it. Most of the time, the gin is not distributed. It's just in our store.
Okay.
Same thing with the fruit liqueurs. The only thing we really work on distributing, again, that back to like do one thing and try to do it well, is the bourbon. And so we put all of our efforts and energy into that.
Absolutely. No one comes on this show. I heard you actually say how many things you live by or stand by, and I love that.
Thank you.
I love that because that's literally what we believe. And on this show, we are the knuckleheads of the whiskey, the YouTube whiskey region, because we don't follow anybody's road. We live by our own. So no one comes on Monday Sucks without giving us advice that does not suck. So if there's one advice that you will give people that does not suck, besides buying your whiskey and making sure that they go to their retailer and ask for your whiskey, what is that one advice that you either live by, obey by, or swear by that you believe does not suck?
Golly, man, you could put me on the spot here. So I actually have a little folder where I write these down because I have what I call Marxisms. And one of them is, beware the peak experience. Because, just at the time when you think you're on top of the world, there's a train coming right for your head. You're not paying attention. Many, many times I've had the experience of people who work around me and myself being so excited and so like over here that you just don't see what's coming at you. That's one of my favorites. Man, I can look them up. I got a bunch of them. But it's been I spent a lot of years in artist management, okay, and marketing and that sort of stuff. And so I spent a lot of time like talking to people about their careers and what they want to do and those kind of things. And I'm scrambling for my Marxisms. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is one of my favorites, the rule of thirds. If you look at it organically, everything is based on thirds, including my mash bill. My mash bill is divisible by threes. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a marketing or if you're doing a visual or you're doing anything, 3 is the magic number, the magic rule of thirds. There's also what I call the 80-20 rule. This I did not write the 80-20 rule. This is a common marketing thing, which says that 80% of your income comes from 20% of your effort, and vice versa. And the question is, what are you doing? The guy that pays you the least will be the biggest pain in your ass. Let's see. Ignoring the problem becomes a bigger correction. So if you don't fix something, this is part of our world right now. If you don't fix something when you're going on, the correction is going to suck even worse. And that's kind of one of those things. Partnerships are easy to get into and hard to get out of. 50% of all marketing dollars are down the drain. The question is, which 50%?
Correct.
I did not write all of these, but I actually keep them here. Whenever I think of something new, I go, I gotta put that down.
I love that.
When I'm
that is good. We ask for one, you give us 10, and I'm happy because now I know exactly. And I have a fewer reminders because I heard them before, but a couple for me definitely hit the nail on the head. This, ladies and gentlemen, was Dueling Ground Distillery.
Appreciate you guys.
They're making a difference in the industry, and I love myself a good pioneer slash comeback kid or underdog story, right? I love me an underdog story because being small and just being different is the hardest thing to do. And so when you're doing it, most people are wondering what type of demon possessed you to do all this craziness. And sometimes that's all we need to keep moving forward. So Mark, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
For those who never heard of it, that's why I let the website keep going. It's duelinggrounddistillery.com. Make sure you'll check him out. Go on your social media, give him a follow, and tell your retailers you want to see more Dueling Ground in your shops. Tell your distributor, for people that know distributors, to start knocking on Mark's door and see if they can get a few pallets off his hands. And that's all we need. So Mark, thank you for being here. We appreciate this Monday Sucks House show is what we call our home. We welcome you to our home. People can invite you and maybe never invite you to come back, but I want to talk to you in a year or two from now. I want you back to know exactly what happened after this conversation today. I want to know the evolution of the brand and really see. I give the example of Penelope. We talked to Penelope in year 2 or year 3. And we talked to him again this year. That was year 7 at that time. And boy, is a whole different world that we saw for that brand versus where we are. And I feel like you'll be one of those as well. And I can't wait to talk to you in a year or two to see exactly what is happening. But we'll keep in touch. I have a feeling I'll be visiting soon to do a little bit of business there and make sure that we have something going on.
Well, guys, I truly appreciate you letting me on your platform, and I hope all the people that are listening and watching had a good time. And we're open every day, available by phone. You want to shoot the shit, or shoot me an email. The address is on the website. But I really have found something that I love doing, and I'm getting close to my 10th year. Next year will be my 10th year of screwing with this, and I found a second career, and I really, really love it. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Mark. Appreciate you, brother.
And we appreciate you.
See you guys.
Cheers, man. Oh, I'm huge.
I like
There we go. Oh, there we go.
I like Mark. I think I'm actually going to go visit him. I
became a huge fan bumping into him at Justin's, and I I had no idea who he was. He pulled the sneaky, "Hey, have you heard of Dueling Grounds? What do you think of it?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I've heard of Dueling Grounds." I was like, "I'm drinking it right now." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I made that." I was like, "You motherfucker! How dare you? How dare you?" But yeah, we hung out and bullshitted for like a good 20 minutes, man. And I mean, I got to see even more of his passion here. I feel like I got a good amount of it when I got to talk to him, but dude knows what he's doing, man. I mean, clearly, like, clearly he knows what he's doing. But
No, I think there is ways to actually be a rebel, and
oh
he
god,
knows the right way of being a rebel. Like people try to be rebels that they just
he's the politically correct rebel. Like,
correct. It's
he's
like
the
it's
PC
just
version.
annoying as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
And you
he's
just
the
like
PC version of your leather jacket motorcycle. Don't tell
exactly.
your mom. Yep,
It's like
yep.
like some people just are just the wrong type of fucking rebels. Like all your shit just sucks. Just
Sure.
stop it. No one want to hear you. You obnoxious for no reason. But I think, yeah, if there was a future to see in someone, I can see how his future will be bright. I have
I
this.
mean, I know he's 10 years in, and you know, even though he's 10 years in, I still feel like he's in the infancy of his
Oh
brand.
yeah, oh yeah.
But a lot of what's going on here reminds me when I first met the Penelope guys.
Mhm.
And I think they were like a year in on their brand, and they sent me batch one, and their cast strength had just been released. They decided to release a cast strength. And I remember I was like, you guys aren't there, but you got all the potential. Like, I remember having this conversation with them, and to see where they're at now, I mean, it's leaps and bounds. I wish I still had some of the original batch one for people to taste and taste where their whiskey is now, because it is a fucking night and day difference. But it's because they genuinely gave a shit about what they were doing, and you see that is prevalent with Dueling Grounds as well. Like, the
Absolutely.
dude gives a shit. The people that are behind it give a shit. Like, he's put in the work, the time, and the effort to do what it takes to get an outstanding product, create an outstanding product, and I don't know. I
He,
think
he
in
got
some
me he
ways,
got me a bottle and bun. So but anyway,
sure, sure.
I have a few more minutes, and let's move on to whiskey news.
Whiskey news.
Whiskey news of this week. We're gonna
Can we
start
talk about?
with the bigger news. Whiskey news, bigger news. The giant,
I'm just gonna be quiet because I feel like you're gonna bring it up. So I'm just gonna.
the giant Diageo has
Yep.
announced
Yep.
that they just bought a craft distillery in Texas.
A premium.
A premium. Yeah, they use the word premium. I don't know, but
Ultra. Wait, didn't they use the name Ultra Premium?
ultra premium or premium, I don't know. But according to this article, Diageo just purchased acquired by Balcones Distillery in Texas. Here's what I have to say. If shocked was a person, you'll be me when I read this. But what do I know about PNLs? So
It's
I'm
true.
not gonna say anything.
It's true. We just leave it at that.
I don't need no smoke. I'm just delivering the news. So, second news, we did talk about what do you call it? We did talk about Campari buying
Wilderness Trail.
Trail. We brought that up, and for all of you guys who actually didn't know, that is happening, but it's 70% of the business that they actually are holding.
It was a 420 million acquisition
Right.
for 70% with a right to buy the following 30% in 10 years for a total of $600 million for an acquisition. So we'll see what
Right.
happens.
So, second news, out of Heaven Hill, the new Old Fitzgerald, just information just dropped
It's a
today.
19-year,
Is a
right?
19-year
Fuck, I
bottling
I
bond.
saw somebody post that in one of my Discords, and I didn't say anything about it, and I was like, "Is this a fucking misprint?" Because I
Nope,
went and looked it up, and I couldn't find anything about it. But yeah, fucking
19 years.
19-year-old. Are you fucking kidding me?
They are not.
I guess that's the way to go out. If you're gonna finish off a brand, go out on a fucking big swing, right?
19, 19-year-old
19-year-old whiskey.
whiskey. Do you know who haven't made an announcement?
Who's that?
So for all of you guys here, I think the gods of the BTAC heard us last week. And right after the show, they decided to fucking drop the news
I
and
told you
tell us
that was
that,
gonna be. We made that joke. They're like,
yeah,
watch, it's
they're
gonna
they're
drop after we
coming
talk
out
about
with
it.
the whole line of the BTAC. And apparently, according to the people I do not trust in the whiskey YouTube, George T. Stagg is the best that it ever been. I don't know about that, but okay,
We'll see.
we'll see.
We'll see
So
when I don't get a bottle.
yeah, so I feel like it's BTAC is out. But do you know who have been a shocker so far?
Hmm.
Old Forester.
Oh,
There
you see
has
the most
been
recent? You see the most recent?
zero announcement about the birthday bourbon
Well, birthday bourbon already came out.
2022.
Yeah, it already came out.
Did I miss it?
You must have, because actually won the lottery for that. That was
Oh yeah,
like,
you did win the lottery
yeah,
for the
that was months
2022.
ago.
I was like zero announcement, but yes, you did. You did. You did.
There
So
was another
news from
announcement
Old
though.
Forester, they decided that Texas was special. So they decided to release the Old Forester King Ranch for the people in Texas.
But that's not all they're releasing. They're also releasing another 117 series,
Yes.
which I thought was super surprising
Hmm.
because I didn't think that they were going to release anything else of that after Jackie left.
Right.
But this is it. So this is Old Forester 117 series Warehouse H barrels of Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Warehouse H is symbolic of Old Forester's growth after World War II. Construction of the brick warehouse began in 1946, housing 50,000 barrels. The fourth-story, eight-chamber warehouse was designed to heat cycle in the winter months when temperatures drop below 60 degrees and the nutrition process ceased. Warehouse H usually is a heat cycling profile with the first floor sometimes hitting the highest temperatures. This is batch 1. This will be released in February of 2023, and it's going to
So a
be at
long time
98
ago from
proof.
now. Okay. Another news coming from Isla. Bunahaben released their second edition of their 12-year cask strength. Bunahaben. Brookladdick just released the Brookladdick this year. Brookladdick Black Art, aka the rich people Brookladdick, the Black Art. For all of you guys that just love yourself something new, um, I will say that be on the lookout at the end of this year if you like the peated whiskey. Big Pete always release one at the end of the year if you're into peated whiskey. Big Pete out of Douglas Lane, bring out some scotch. For Booker's lovers, the last Booker did get released. It's not on the market yet, but the last Booker, the 2022-4 is out
And
on
apparently it's outstanding.
is out. I wouldn't know on the market. So we will see when it comes out.
Can I just
For-
really quick, because you talked about scotch, and I don't want to get away from this because then it'll be relevant. Um, Go watch this documentary.
Oh, the Water of Life.
I'm sure
It's
you
been
saw it
around
already.
for a long time.
I'm sure. I know it has been. I just watched it a couple nights ago, and I thought it was absolutely fucking incredible. I learned a whole bunch more about brands that I didn't know about.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I will say
They're talking
as a
about
bourbon,
Bunahaben, Kia Holman.
dude,
Did you see how the guy talk about how the peat impregnate the
dude, I loved this documentary as a bourbon guy who likes Scotch and who's genuinely learning more and more about Scotch every day. I
Did you
seriously
get your
love this doc.
package today? You should have gotten your package today.
I'll go check. I'll go check at
I forgot. Your apartment is like a prison. You got to go through the clearinghouse before he gets to you.
Yeah, I'll go check at the place though, because I didn't get anything at the door.
He says it was delivered. So
But no, seriously, guys, go watch this. Like it was so great. It was super informative, and there was tons of history. I would say like halfway through, I was pulling out all my Scotch in my collection. I was like, I'm fucking drinking. Let's go. But it was awesome. It was awesome and super informative.
It's something that I actually remind people that the word of whiskey is so big that you really have to know where you're going. On this episode of You Done Fucked Up, since when, right? Since when Habiki Harmony becomes an allocated item? Like, since when?
So I will say this much. I noticed that shit starting to happen back in like 2019. I started seeing it slow down, and the price took a pretty substantial increase too, as far as per bottle.
So what they're trying to tell us is not only Japanese whiskey is already a thing that people are still discovering, we're just gonna hike up the price and it'll
make it
become
harder
an
to get.
allocated item.
I just want my Hibiki 12 back. That's all I want.
Centauri, you done fucked up.
Done fucked up. Yeah, done fucked up, Centauri.
Centauri, you done fucked up. There's no way that people are still discovering Japanese whiskey, and you guys are literally screwing people on the deal by making sure that the U.S. market now has to literally get into a lottery sometime, and that where is the enjoyment of the freaking product? Then you're gonna say, "Oh, Americans don't know anything because you guys make this thing. You churning your whiskey to be elitist."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost in that elitist price point as it is.
I know. No one can own Habiki Harmony anymore, and it's not like the juice is changing. They just add some fucking flowers around the box and just make it like. There you go.
You went from a $55 whiskey to an $85 whiskey, where I'm at. I don't know how it is where you're at. But
worse, you get worse. Like it's like 99 sometimes. I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, since when Habiki Harmony? Yeah, beautiful bottle, beautiful, but the juice is not changing. So tonight, you done fucked up goes to Centauri. You done fucked up because Habiki is not all that. And now no one actually is looking for this because obviously you guys want to turn into an elitist thing, and we don't care. We really don't care.
There's other Japanese whiskeys I can introduce to beginners.
You know what? I really don't care anymore about the Habiki Harmony. I'm not going to look at it. It's like looking at your mom naked. No one wants to do that. That's exactly what Habiki became. I'm no longer going to actually do that ever again.
God damn it, man.
You guys then put yourself in a position where no one wants to actually even deal with y'all. That would be a no for me.
It's a no for me, dog.
No for me. No. We are gonna close with upcoming news. Upcoming news. That's upcoming news. Upcoming news
Next
for
week.
all the patrons rejoice. I now worked out a 3 month plan till next year, till the
Okay.
end of next year. For all the Patreons, if you're watching, Scotch School is in session, and everybody should be getting their first kit, including the water, to actually go with their whiskey this week. And oh my God, do I have some stuff that are gonna like get your palate go crazy. I already have like plans already. Like I wrote on bottles already. And the greatest thing is that we are not going to use any brands, any regular brands.
I
We'll
like
be
that.
studying
I
the
back
way
that.
I studied single malt based on solely cask age, and that's it. And really working your taste bud to actually get into it. So I'm very excited about that.
I'll tell you, I'm very excited about next week. Even though I'm not 100% sure, Nate did contact me today. No, he did contact me yesterday. He's gonna be in Louisville tomorrow, and apparently he's gonna have samples for me, which I will make sure go in the post as soon as I get them, because next week we have, saying this in quotations because Jackie's given us the runaround since the beginning.
all
We
I
have-
know, all I know is that if my samples don't make it by the 13th, I'll be in a plane to Portland Cocktail Week. That'll be you and Nate just having a show. I won't be
That's
there
fine. That's fine. I mean, we'll do what
because
we got to do.
be-
Yeah. So there's that. It's supposed to be Hidden Barn next week, and then the week after that we have Pinhook, which I'm super excited about because their most recent vertical series release is Chef's Kiss, fabulous. Make sure you go pick that up if you're able to, because you won't be disappointed. And yeah, kind of cool.
that's a good suggestion. We will do that one day.
Yeah, I'll talk
Somebody
about.
want to talk about
What is this?
sets? Like
Set.
taste a complete set of Wellers, complete set of bourbon.
Oh
complete set
wow.
of-
You know, that's a cool thing to talk about. I
Yeah.
personally don't see any point in doing that
Thanks,
unless
Andy.
you're a collector. But I mean, fuck it,
Yeah.
we can talk about
Thanks,
that.
Andy.
Andy, you beautiful son of a bitch.
What
I love you, bud.
I would definitely tell you is interesting to talk about. I'll actually be curious because I have every single blend open.
I feel like you're the rare exception to the whole like collector rule because
Oh yeah.
you collect, but you fucking collect to open.
Oh yeah.
You don't
But-
collect to set
Oh.
it on a shelf and go, if you look over here on my shoulder, I have every blah blah
So
blah.
I have a rule. The rule is if I'm not sure, I will have a sample of the bottle that I'm keeping on the shelf.
Okay.
Which means that because I have to practice what I preach.
Sure.
I am not going to tell someone about a whiskey that I have not tasted.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
it's hypocritical. It is dumb. It is stupid. And when somebody say, "Oh, BTAC, have you had BTAC?" Yeah, I've tried every single one of them, and literally every year,
Dude, what was it
I
like
spend $100.
Was it
and I
2 years
go-
ago that I have to say this. I have to toot your horn for a second because this is paying homage to what you just said. But I think it was 2 years ago. You couldn't get a hold of the whole BTAC collection, and you went out to get samples to find where you could get samples so you could sit down
Yep.
and taste everything so you could talk about it.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I never get a chance to get the whole collection. Usually
No.
I'm lucky enough with the work I put in to get one bottle out of the
Sure.
bag.
Sure.
But what I do is with our whiskey bar here, usually the set of 1 ounce or 1 ounce of each is about $100. So I'll pay that $100 to get a sample of each single one of them. Why? I'm not gonna talk. I don't think it's right to even have an opinion to talk about something that you have not put your mouth on. And
And it
that's
happens all the time. We see that
all the
shit
time,
all
all the
the time
freaking time. And
about
we
people
are
saying
not cool
something.
enough that Buffalo Trace want to send us samples for us to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, to have him on the show here is like it's like pulling teeth. So it's like for me, if I'm gonna tell anybody on the show, hey, no need to look for the stag or no need to do I've tried it. The only stags that like even the stag junior is the last one that doesn't have the junior on it that I don't have. From the 17 all the way down, I have every single one of them. And I've actually opened one and kept one.
Sure.
And I believe it should totally be the thing. There's one you can accuse me of anything, but you cannot accuse me of being a bullshitter. Nope, not in whiskey. I will not bullshit you because when I taste, I will taste something before I talk about it, and that's the one thing I have to remind everybody. So if you guys want to see us doing more set on things, I'll share samples with Tim of things he doesn't have, and we'll go through it from the Benton Gold, straight from the barrel, regular Blantons, the green, the what do you call it? The only thing I don't have open of is the 1990 Takara Red, but everything else I have open, and that's because I actually got a sample of that 1992 Takara Red from someone.
Speaking of samples, do you want me to send you Lincoln Pinch?
Of what?
The stuff we just drank tonight.
I want
Do
a
you want?
bottle. I don't want a sample.
No. I know. That's what I'm saying. Do you want bottles?
Yeah,
Do you want one of each?
yeah.
I'll pick them up tomorrow. I will send them your way.
What do you call it? But beside that, really, um, I don't think there is a lot for us. Oh, if you're a patron, watch out for your email. First release is out. So Wilderness Trail just got completed.
Oh,
Do
is
you
it
know
okay?
do you know what happened? What happened to our Wilderness Trail?
Hold on. Before you say what happened to it, was that a typo in the email? Is it really 7.5-year-old rye?
No. Yeah, it's a typo. It's 4.7. No, 4.7. I know. I apologize.
I saw that and I got a fucking whiskey boner. I said, God damn it.
No. So
Okay, so what happened to the barrel?
So one thing also happened to that blend. We may have actually gotten a blend.
Oh.
But can't talk about it. But what happened to it is from what we tasted to what was bottled, because it stayed for a couple months and it got colder, proof went up by 1 point.
Okay.
Like it was weird. I'm like, I have the sample here. It's 102.75. And he gets there, it's like, oh no, it's 103.62. I'm like,
okay.
Proof went up on it. And he got a little darker on the thing. So 2 months makes a difference. 2 months before bottling anything makes a difference. But it's so weirdly, it's so zesty. It's like citrus, but finished with a lot of spice. So the two things that are gonna be released, Penelope, single barrel, and they are the best drink you can have this fall or this cold season.
You're getting me excited because I'll tell you right now.
I'm telling you right now.
I've been stocking up on fall expressions. I got this guy. I got this guy.
Which you know what? I was never able to find a 10-year Asian age. I ask everybody. I even asked who was that? It's like I wanted like the handler.
That's that one. I'll see if I can. I grabbed this from the dollar. I'll see if they have any more, and I'll if they do, I'll grab you one.
Please, because it's so delicious.
Oh, agreed. That's why I grabbed this. This is fantastic. Silver dollar. But yeah, I'm excited that you say that because I'm starting to grab stuff that I want to drink for
No,
the
I'm
fall.
telling you,
So
it's the perfect temperature, about 100, 100 between 105 and 115. A lot of tobacco note, a lot of those zesty, like clove notes that you just want to have neat to
mm,
enjoy. So actually, I tell people now, if you go to get that Wilderness Trail, the price is actually so affordable on
mm,
those.
mm.
And you probably want to get one to drink, one to keep, because now that they're with Campari, we don't know what things are gonna
That's
go.
true. We really
So
don't.
grab yourself 2 or 3, because I can proudly say that I have some Wilderness Trail from 5 years ago, and those I hold the dear life, because those are things that can no longer be duplicated the
You
way
know
it
what
is.
wish I still had some of was
The OJ one, the mixed double.
the
I,
mixed
I
double.
know, I knew that's what you're gonna say.
I
Like, I have half of a bottle and I keep it.
dude, I killed that fucking bottle.
Oh
That
my
thing is
god,
so
the mixed
fucking
double.
good.
So if you think of the mixed double, think of a lighter version of the mixed double. That's
Okay.
literally what we found when we were
Okay.
going through our work.
About it. About
So
it.
yeah, for all of you guys, what I'm doing now is I'm making sure either IG, if you're an IG subscriber, if you're not a patron but you're an IG subscriber, there is content that is hidden there right now, so people that are IG subscriber can also know when things are dropping off. Which I love this for IG now, is like I can put things just for subscribers, so I can put something on IG and people are like, "Oh, you never said it," because you're not a subscriber, you will not know. But yeah, tomorrow at the latest, Wednesday morning, it will be engagement. We'll push things out there. We are locking it down. Patrons are the first people. I have to remind people that Penelope is only 50 bottles. Please don't order two, order just one, so everybody can have one. Because the Tokai, we took the toasted Tokai and we took the architect, and we did an 70/30, and it's just phenomenal. Like, dude, I can't wait for your face to try this. Like, I can't,
Mm,
because it was me, Burb Your Enthusiasm, Wendy, uh D, uh So Damn Good,
mm.
and Matt himself, and the Master Blender. We all tried this shit and we went, this is it.
I was talking to Matt like 2 or 3 days ago, and he literally said the same thing that you just told me. He goes, "Bro, just wait." And I said, "I'm tired of fucking waiting. I want
It's
to
gonna
drink it
be good.
now."
And for as a last news, December 3rd, if you're in the ATL, if you're in Atlanta, please grab yourself a ticket. Afrofusion is happening in Atlanta. Announcement video dropping tomorrow. We're gonna have a good time. Afrofusion Atlanta, December 3rd, is about to go down. It's gonna burn like a badass burn. So for all of you here, just know it's about to go down. Make sure you actually grab yourself a ticket if you're leaving the ATL or the surrounding, so we gonna have a good time. We gonna stay high. Whew. So that is it for all of you here. This was Monday. Somebody wanted to know how the Valencia is. Yeah, I will tell you this. Uh, I will tell you this. I want people to actually try it. VDN is quite interesting
Mm,
when it comes to the profile. If
mm,
you're into sweeter stuff, Valencia will be for you. If
mm.
you like the regular, how bourbon's supposed to actually have that little bit of those spice note and that, you probably will not actually like it. So
All I know is I think Kentucky has to wait another week to get the Valencia, and
Valencia.
yeah, I'm all for it.
All right. So thank y'all so much for always being here. Thank y'all for who are supporting. Again, you want to jump on either subscriber or a Patreon train, because amazing things are coming out from the Penelope to the thing, but my greatest accomplishment this year, and I'm waiting till the end of the show to say this, is Virginia Distillery single malt ex bourbon cask, 123 proof Scotch. This American single malt is just is so delicious. Get your nipples hard. That's how good it is. Like we say in French, a bon attendeur, demi mo. If you don't know it, all we say in Africa, if you don't know, if you don't get it, forget about it.
I feel like that's the equivalent of if you know, you know.
If you don't get it, forget about it. That's how good it is. So for all of
All
you
right.
guys out there, if you have any message, reach out. Tim, tell the people where they can find you.
At the lovely and world famous Justin's House of Bourbon. If you find yourself in the state of Kentucky, you're in Louisville, and you're looking to kill some time, come see me at Justin's House of Bourbon. And you can find me on all your favorite social media platforms at Single Barrel Snob. Jack, tell them what's good, my dude.
It's Hood Sommelier on IG, on YouTube, on everything. Just Hood Sommelier. Follow, and I promise you'll be just fine. I'm always a good time. Every Tuesday, wisdom from Africa. Every Wednesday, some crazy that I put on the internet, and every Monday I'm here. This was us. This is us. Love it or hate it. We are the knucklehead of whiskey, and we'll see you next Monday.
Cheers, dudes.